Hello, this is Sweet June. It's been a while since I've been on here. Trying to get myself together, trying to get in shape, and um, decided to rock my natural hair for a while. You guys to see. I told you. Whatever makes me feel good, that's what I do. You know, I just like to do me. Um, I'm feeling pretty good. Things feeling pretty blessed and things going good. Um, I wanted to talk about uh, gossip. You know, the issue of gossip. Gossip is really getting terrible. Gossip is bad. It's really a bad thing. Um, you know, um, Bible, God makes it very clear that He doesn't want us to gossip. That gossiping is a sin. You know, because gossiping can lead to people can get killed because of gossip. Gossip is really bad, and I don't think people really realize how bad gossip really is. It's bad, you know. Um, People, can lose their life over gossip. Marriages can break up, families breaking up. It's gossip is a bad thing. It really is really bad, and I just wanted to address it. And I know me personally, I try really hard not to gossip. It is a challenge to not gossip. It's so easy to get caught up in, he said, she said. It's just, I think it's easy for all of us to really get caught up in it. And I try really hard to put forth a serious effort to not gossip. But even for me, a lot of times, it's really hard. It's a challenge. But when gossip becomes dangerous, when it crosses that line and it becomes dangerous, is when people start gossiping about people's relationships, or um, to the point to where it can cause problems in that person's relationship. That's when that gossip can become a very serious problem. To where, like, if you're with somebody, you're in a relationship with somebody, and then somebody comes to you, say, "Well, I heard your man was seen with this other woman," and then you go back and you confront your man about it, and he was like, "I wasn't with no other woman," or "That was my cousin I was with," or whatever, or "She's just somebody I knew from school. I was just talking to her," or whatever. And it might not even be that he was having an affair or messing around with this woman. It could have been somebody he knew from school, from around the way, or it could be a family member, or you don't know. But people love to speculate. And so just that person coming back to you telling you, this, it could cause problems in your relationship. That's why people need to follow their own instincts in their relationship, and not get so caught up in listening to what other people are saying, because that could cause you to break up. That could cause marriages to break up. Marriages have broken up because of gossip. It's gossip is really bad. It's a terrible thing. And I really truly understand why Jehovah God doesn't want us to do it, because it's bad. A person can lose their life over gossip. Gossip can really, really get that bad to where a person can lose their life. And it's really, really detrimental that we really try to, particularly as a Christian, and we really try really hard to not get caught up in all the gossip. And another situation to where gossip can be really bad is in the workforce. Can be terrible in the workforce. I know on my job I'm on right now, gossip is bad. Gossip can ruin someone's reputation. It could ruin somebody's work record. A gossip can really, really ruin a person's work record. You know, and um, that's what really bothers me as far as in the workforce. How gossip can ruin a person's work record. Can ruin my work record, can ruin anybody's work record. Just gossiping, saying, "Well, I heard such and such was doing this, or such and such was doing that, or I heard so and so wasn't doing their job, or whatever." And then it gets back to the supervisor, and the supervisor is the type that'll get caught up in all the gossip. Then they may believe that, and that person might cause that person to be reprimanded or whatever because based on what somebody else says. So this person decides that they want to lie on you and then they want to spread this gossip about you, then it can really cause problems in the workforce. It could really cause a lot of serious problems. It's like a friend of mine that I was working with, um, it was a lot of lies that was told on her, and you know, it ultimately it caused her. She's the type, she was a warrior, and ultimately it caused her to have to leave the job and seek another position because it had got that bad. And the supervisor had already had a bias opinion towards her. So she got caught up in all this gossip and was believing what people was coming back telling her, and it was a lot of lies. They was telling a lot of lies, and unfortunately she was believing the lies. And it caused so much stress to the point to where she had to seek another position because she could just it's hard to work on a job when you're under that kind of pressure. I was caught up in a situation like that too, on another job to where the supervisor didn't really like me that well, and people was coming back to her telling her stuff that I was doing, lying on me. A couple of employees I was working with was trying to dig a ditch for me, and they was going back telling her this lies about me and everything like that. And she was, of course, already had a bias against me because I'm just gonna come out with it. She was racist. And so she was, and the other two employees I was working with, they was racist too. You know, and one of them clearly did not like me. So they was going back telling things, that I was doing and I wasn't doing, blaming things on me and stuff like that. And it just got to the point to where I just had to leave the job. I just had to up and leave. You know, you can't work like that. You cannot work under that kind of stress and that kind of pressure. And particularly if the supervisor has it in for you, and then people, it just makes a good breeding ground for people to come back and tell her things and for her to believe it. And that's where gossip becomes malicious. It becomes evil. It really rears its evil head when and to the point to where it could ruin a person's career. It could ruin your reputation on a job. It can cause you to lose money. It's terrible. It's terrible. I was making decent money at that job and I had to walk away from it. I had to leave it, because it was some other things that was going on too, and it caused me so much stress. It was starting to affect my health and everything, and I just figured it's just not worth it. It's either me or this job. And so I just got to the point to where I had to make a decision. You know, it was going to be either me or this job, and I decided, hey, I'm more important than this job. You know, and I figured God is able, and God can provide another way for me to get another job, and that's exactly what He did. So, and this was a situation with my friend. She had to do the same thing. That it was the same situation with her, all over again. And this is terrible. See, this is what gossip can do. This is how bad gossip can get. Gossip can get really, really bad to where it could really affect your job. It's terrible. Gossip is horrible. You know, I understand why God doesn't want us to do it because it's just a terrible thing. It's horrible, and I try really, really hard not to gossip. Get caught up, and I even on the job I'm on, I brought it to my supervisor's attention how bad was the gossip, how bad the gossip was. It's terrible. It's horrible. And if we're trying to serve God, trying to be Christians, it's our responsibility to try really hard to work on not spreading gossip, not, you know, doing participating in malicious gossip, to the point where it's going to cause someone to lose their job or ruin someone's reputation, or it's just terrible. I mean, there's cases where gossip has gotten so bad, like in the schools, gossip has gotten so bad to where these young people are starting to commit suicide. It really makes you heartsick. It's really sad, tragic how some of these young people are committing suicide because of cyberbullying and gossiping, malicious gossip on the internet and everything, and they find out this individual is gay or whatever the situation is, or they're being accused of being gay, and then rumors go around, and they just can't take it emotionally. They can't take it, and they decide to unfortunately take their life. So this is really bad, people. Gossip is just getting out of control. It's horrible. It's terrible. And so it's just it's terrible. I think if you have any type of love in your heart for God, then that should prompt you to not even want to participate in that type of malicious gossip. Someone that's something, like I said, is going to ruin someone's reputation, maybe destroy a person's job, or destroy a person's family, or hurt them to the point to where they want to take their own life, take them to a major depression. That's malicious gossip. And in a situation to where a person takes their life, you could be held blood guilty for that. God can hold you accountable for that, and that is serious. It's very serious. I just want people to realize the seriousness of gossip. It's getting worse. And as far as another important thing is gossip in Hollywood. Gossip among the celebrities. As far as dealing with the celebrities. The other day I was on a blog, and I like to watch the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I love this show. It's like one of my favorite shows. I don't watch all the other ones. That's the only one that I'll watch. And so Kim is doing a thing right now on TV. Don't be tardy for the wedding, where she's um, where they're showing her and getting prepared in preparation for her wedding and all that. And she just moved into this house, and so now everybody's trying to say that she's getting evicted or put out of her house and everything. And she had to come back and clarify that she was not losing her house. And why should she have to come on nationwide TV, or why should she have to come on the internet or anything and tell people that she is not getting put out or evicted? Or it's ridiculous. Why should she have to convince anybody that she's, you know, not getting evicted or whatever? First of all, it's none of anybody's business what her living situation is. It's really none of anybody's business. Second of all, what does that have to do with you in your life? How does that relate to you in your life? It has nothing to do with you. So this is the type of malicious gossip I'm talking about. Is the point to where this, you can. This is affecting her image, and her family. It's not loving. It's not loving. It's not nice. And and if you was the situation, you was getting evicted, put out of your house, would you want everybody all over town gossiping about you getting evicted, you getting put out of your house? It's the same situation, just at a smaller scale. But it's the same thing. If I'm getting evicted out of my house, I really wouldn't want someone to be gossiping about, and then everybody all over town gossiping about me being evicted out of my house. Or if there was a speculation that, or somebody, worse yet, decided they wanted to spread this, and everybody all over town is talking about, me getting evicted out of my house, I would be humiliated. I would be humiliating. It would be, even if I was really getting evicted, it would be humiliating to me. That's bad enough, but now you got everybody talking about it and gossiping about it. I would be very humiliated. So see, that's the seriousness of it. It's not loving. It's not a loving thing to do. Is you have to. The Bible says, "Do unto others as you want others to do unto you." If you don't want people gossiping about you, then we have to really, really try to concentrate on not gossiping about others, and then on top of that, passing judgment on these people. Because of, I read the blogs, and they're not only gossiping about it, but they're passing judgment, saying, "Oh well, she's always talking about, how much money she's got and all that stuff like that, and she needs to pay her mortgage." And then they make these comments, and then they don't even know the situation. They make comments like that, but they're not even knowing the situation. They're just going by what somebody is saying. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's like, not even knowing the whole situation, but you want to not only spread the gossip, but on top of that, you want to provide judgment. You want to judge this person on top of that, and not even knowing the whole situation. She had to come out and with a statement saying, "Well, no, I'm not losing my house," and she shouldn't have to explain that. She shouldn't. It's none of anybody's business, you know. It, whether she's being whatever her living situation is or what the arrangement is on her house is really none of anybody's business. I don't get caught up and be worrying about what anybody's situation is. I'm so busy worrying about mine. You know, it's none of anybody's business. And see, this is what I'm talking about. People gossiping about the Kardashians, and it's just ridiculous. It's just really unfortunate that celebrities, they got the fame and the money, but it's a serious price that they have to pay for it. They have to pay a heck of a price for that fame and money. And then people gossip and they speculate um, on things that it's like the situation with this minister Creflo Dollar. With him supposedly um, being arrested for assaulting his daughter. People are gossiping, and like everybody else, they're gossiping and speculating and judging, passing judgment on that. They was not there. It's like this: you wasn't there. You don't know the situation. You don't know what conspired or how that took place. Don't Nobody was there. They don't know what happened. It's like you weren't even there, so how can you speculate? You know. And so me, when I read that, I instantly thought, well, I have no judgment. I can't judge because I got the police some number of years ago. I got the police called on me because I was disciplining my son. So, and I could have a situation to where I could have went to jail. So I said, I can't. I read that. I instantly said, I can't judge. So, but again, nobody knew the situation of why I was disciplining my son. They speculated, automatically assumed that he was being abused. He was not being abused. He was doing something that he had no business doing. And that's why I was disciplining my son. They heard him crying and stuff, and they called the police. I had good reason for disciplining him at that particular time. He did something very serious. And I wanted to get the point across to him that this is not acceptable behavior. The Bible says, "Spare the rod and spoil the child." The Bible doesn't condemn us; it actually encourages us to bring out the rod if we have to. You know, so it's the same with Creflo Dollar. Nobody knows that situation. You was not there. If you was not there, then you don't know what happened. You don't know what took place. You don't know what happened. You're just speculating. So people shouldn't really be gossiping about that. Everything is not always the way it seems. Just because something appears to be a certain way, it don't mean that that's the way it went down. You know, it's just like at my house a couple years back. I had a drive-by shooting type situation. People wanted to gossip and speculate on why, or come up with their theories as to why it happened. You know, that my son must have been involved in something. It had nothing to do with me, or it had nothing to do with my son. It was just a situation to where his friend was here, and they were targeting him, and they shot him. And some people had some issues with his friend. It had nothing to do with my son. It had nothing to do with me. So people wanted to speculate and assume that it was because of something my son was doing or whatever. You know, and or thinking that I'm having uh, certain types of people at my house, and and this was somebody that was practically a family member that was always has always been to my house. So it was really a difficult situation for me. But I got through it. God helped me through it. But that's what I said. Gossip is terrible. It's a horrible thing. And God hates gossip. He hates it. And we're trying to, serve God and line up our lives up to his standards. We will try to make a conscious effort to not gossip, to not spread malicious gossip, gossip that's going to ruin someone's reputation, or ruin someone's career, or aid in a person losing their job, or something, or and worse yet, the type of gossip that could really hurt someone to the point to where they'll sink into a deep depression, and they'll want to take their own lives. That's tragic, because God can hold us accountable for those things. He can hold us blood guilty for it. So as Christians, we need to make a conscious effort to not gossip, you know, to not spread malicious gossip. You know, you know, the Bible, Jehovah God makes it very clear in the Bible that we are not to do this. That's why I wanted to do a blog about it, because it's terrible. We need to stop gossiping about the celebrities. We don't know their situation. We don't know, and I know it's a situation to where some people will be like, well, they be hating. They be like, well, no, because the celebrity has so much money and fame, and they want to find something negative. What is that loving? Would you want people to treat you that way if you were in that position? No. Sometimes we have to put ourselves in other people's shoes. Would you want people saying these things about you? How would you feel? So that's what I just wanted to get that, I just wanted to talk about it, how horrible gossip is getting. It's getting out of control, and as Christians, we want to do the right thing. We want to serve God, and most importantly, be footstep followers to Jesus Christ. If we want to be footstep followers to Jesus Christ, we got to try to put forth a serious effort to not do this. You know, and I have to. I ask myself a lot of times, what would Jesus do? That was a popular saying at one time. What would Jesus do? Would Jesus do this? Would Jesus spread this gossip about this person, especially not knowing all the facts? And then you have to ask yourself the question, how is this gossip going to affect this other person? You know, so that's serious, people. It's serious. You know, and if you have the love of God in your heart and the love of your fellow man, then we have to try really, really hard to work on not spreading malicious gossip. Because it's getting out of control. People don't have the love of God in their heart, don't care, but they will be held accountable for that. And we don't want to be held accountable. We don't want to be blood guilty, responsible for someone taking their lives. So it's important that we work on this thing. So that's what I wanted to get across. Okay, Mike, talk about this some more. Sweet June 2010.